Welcome to Journey to Joy Live, a podcast to promote wellness, resilience, and inspire joy. Be empowered to balance your mental, physical, financial, aspirational, and social health while providing mental health awareness and breaking down the stigma of mental illness in the Black community. I'm your host, Dr. If Joy, and I'm here to help you transform life's challenges into opportunities for joy. Let's begin the journey together. Hello, welcome to Journey to Joy Live. We are on a Wednesday this week, and this is for episode 133. No is a full sentence. The joy of protecting your energy. And I'm so happy to have Dr. Jen Fry. She is the CEO of JenFryTalks and author of I Said No. And when I say it that way, I'm thinking about my 2-year-old who is very confident when he just says no. It's
Yep.
like he builds it up from beneath and then he just says it and he's so confident about that. So anyway, welcome, Dr. Jen.
Thank you, friend. Appreciate you having me here.
Of course. Well, thank you for coming. And so I just want to know, well, everybody who's listening would like to know more about you. You are a psychologist, correct?
No, a sport geographer.
Oh, look at that. Look at that.
I
Well,
have
tell
a
us more.
college bachelor's, but that was decades ago.
A sport geographer. Okay, so tell me how you got into that, and then how did you get into the world of no?
Yeah, so it's kind of this I'd say the first thing is that, back in the day, a person would hold a job for 40 years, get their gold watch, get their pension, and leave. And
Mhm,
that world is gone.
mhm.
And so, one thing I would tell the people listening is that there's gonna be so many different iterations of you.
Yeah.
You have to be prepared for that. I think so many people come into this, right? They leave college and they're like, "This is the thing I want to do. I'm gonna do it forever." And then
Mhm,
when the different iterations of them show up, it really scares them.
mhm.
This is saying that this is a normal part of life, especially now. You're gonna find different industries, different jobs, and that's kinda what happened to me. I was a college volleyball coach for about 15 years, coached all over the US, coached for a national championship, coached at HBCU, literally coached at all levels.
Mhm.
And then about 2013 or 14, I started to get more interested in race. I also to take
Mm.
a step back, I'm from Arizona. I was born in Canada. I'm When I lived in Arizona, I was from 5 minutes from the Mexican border, so
Mhm.
mom was white. We didn't really
Wow.
talk about race, right? We were, 40, 50% undocumented. I was undocumented from Canada. So,
Mm.
we didn't have these conversations. I lived
Yeah.
2 miles from a native reservation, like, right, like, those type of in-depth racial conversations we really didn't have, and so I
Mhm.
I went to school in Alabama, had some, but when I was coaching at Elon, I started to get more involved in it, and there came to be a point where it was like, I really like this thing and I wanna do it more, but I have this career, and what am I gonna do?
Yeah.
Because my head coach didn't seem too interested in, like, what I was doing. I was getting on committees, I was doing all these things, and I started to also feel very resentful of my coaching volleyball. Because if anyone knows, when you coach college your whole life, you don't get to turn off your cell phone. That's like it's a no-no. You don't get to say, "I'm gonna turn my cell phone off for 10 days and disappear." It doesn't.
Yeah.
And I started to feel very resentful about that life. I wanted
Uh-huh.
to travel. I was missing friends' weddings, anniversaries, parties, and so there comes a point where you just have to decide if you're gonna jump or not, and that's
Mhm.
really what I did. Was I was I was more resentful staying in this life than I was just saying, "Let me just jump. I don't know what I'm do. I just know I don't wanna do this." And I think also, let me
Hey.
at that point, I was single. I mean, I'm still am single, but I had properties and I had a cat, so I didn't have anyone to caretake. I didn't have kids, and whenever people ask me about leaving my career, I always put that caveat. Like, you have to be truthful with the information you give. You can't be like,
Mhm.
"Just leave, it'll work for you." No. If you have kids, if you gotta caretake your parents, no.
You gotta think it through. Yeah,
I
plan.
just I jumped. I had a savings in case anything went wrong with the house, and I
Mm.
had built up a really good network, and so from that,
Mm.
I,
Smart.
yeah, I was doing, like, committees at Elon, and one of the guys who ran it asked me if I wanted this temporary job in the diversity center,
Mhm.
and interestingly enough, I got fired a day before my 90 days like, gonna put me to, like, a day before my 90. If anyone's been fired, you kind of remember, like, what you
Yeah.
were wearing, you remember everything, and
Mhm.
interestingly enough, after that, I went and worked at Duke, And when I got to Duke, I sent him a thank you note for hiring me and giving me the opportunity because I wanted him
Oh,
to see I was on my feet, right? I wanted him to see, like, I'm fine. And it was funny because he sent me a text message and he was like, "Thank you for the note. That shows your character. If you need anything, let me know." I'm like, "You fired me. What are you talking about?"
yeah.
And, it one of my good
It
friends
wasn't a
worked there.
layoff.
And every
Mhm,
single time he saw her, he would say, "How's Jen doing? She really, like, impressed me with that note she sent." And so I was working at Duke, and
mhm.
I was doing a lot of stuff with race and sport, and a friend of mine said, "You should look into becoming a professional speaker." And I was like, "I don't even know what that is." And I was like, "Okay."
Right.
So I started cultivating my website. I started trying it, right, building the skill. I did a TED Talk, and,
Mhm.
in 2018, someone said, "You have 2 masters, you can't get a 3rd, you have to get a PhD." And I was like,
Oh.
I don't know what I didn't have a clue really what I mean, at that point, I'm 37, 38. I don't
Mhm.
know what a PhD is, what it does, but I was like, "Okay." And so I was able to get
Oh,
in. I'm a sport geographer, I got it from Michigan State. I did my dissertation on
Michigan State. Yeah, that's where I went to med school.
It is? Oh, go
Yes.
look. Yes, love that. So I did my dissertation on the racial experiences of professional Black female volleyball players in Europe. I did a
Nice.
403-page dissertation. I did probably one of the only theoretical frameworks for Black female athletes.
Mhm.
I did my PhD in 3 years, and, for me, it was like, I mean, a moment of probably becoming one of the only sport geographers in the world, and, like, my mom passed away, I'm doing all this race work, like, it was, like, everything that could I'm traveling,
Yeah.
like, 2 weeks, out of the
Mhm.
month during COVID, like, it was the wildest,
Oh.
but, like, I think the biggest thing is that there's gonna be just so many different iterations of you, and you just gotta hang on for the ride and not try and stop it because you're afraid.
Mhm. For sure, that fear can stop us, guilt can stop us, and just feeling like you said, feeling like we gotta be in the career that we started in the beginning for the rest of our lives, and that just
Yes.
doesn't happen anymore. And that's really good that you brought that up because that's a spinoff of last week's episode. We were talking about the career reset and how sometimes we just need to reset our careers, whether we're changing a different path within our career versus just completely changing our career, and that's okay.
Oh, 100%, and the thing I always tell people, if you're gonna do that, you have to stay in the job you're in to figure out what you want to do next. I think
Mhm.
there's, like, this whole idea of, like, just jump and the parachute will appear. The parachute appears when you've done the work, right? Like, when
Yeah.
you don't wanna be in this career, but you're not sure what the next one is, you have to
Yeah.
do some work to figure that out, and then the parachute appears, right? So for me, I
Yeah.
was networking, I was doing so much to
Mhm.
learn, and I think that's the thing that some people don't realize because you might think, "Oh, I really wanna do this career," and then you leave a decent job to do this one career and you hate it because you didn't do any research, it looked really sexy on the outside,
Yeah.
right? Like, it looks super sexy, and then you get into it. Like, there was this one woman I was talking to, and she was talking about how, um, she really wanted to get into I can't think of what she wanted to get into.
Mhm.
The career she was at, I was like, "Well, tell me about the job you're in." She was like, "Well, it's not bad." She's like, "My boss doesn't micromanage. I get to do what I want. I get to be on committees. I get to do
Oh,
all this stuff."
yeah, that's great.
And I was like, "So what is it you wanna do?" And she named it, and I said, "So you wanna leave 80% for this passion of 20%. And then when you get to this passion,
Mm.
you might hate your boss, you get micromanaged, but you're doing your passion." I said, "Girl, find a committee.
Yeah, the lifestyle is better. It
Find a committee."
seems,
Yeah, like,
it's
people don't
tough.
realize that this whole sexy thing of, like, doing your passion, if you got
You gotta get paid for it.
you gotta get and paid well, right? Like, if you got 80% rocking, figure out within that
Mhm.
80% where you can find your passion. Figure
Yeah. Yeah, and it takes time and research, you can figure it out for sure. So how did all that turn into, "Let me start telling people about no"? I know in the beginning of your book, I believe it was in the prologue, where you started talking about that's what you do anyway. You know how to say no. Apparently, people know that you are that person that are okay with saying no, so you just decided to write a book on that. Tell us more about that.
So what happened was that I was doing a lot of EA work, and then probably about 22, I started to see, right, the landscape changing, and
Yeah.
I started to pay more attention in my engagements and to
Mhm.
see where people leaned in, where they were more
Mm.
did where they wanted to talk, and a lot
Yeah.
of it had to do around the beginning with, like, ground rules and conflict and all of that. So
Yes.
one of the things I started to realize was that we can't talk about inclusion unless people have a really good understanding of conflict. I think
Mhm.
you can talk about the movie you watched, the book you read, but until you're willing to tell your grandma or grandpa that they're wrong, none of that stuff
It's
matters.
hard.
And so right, like, and so for me, I have a great skill of helping people navigate through hard, uncomfortable shame and guilt.
Mhm.
And so I started to just do more work on that and to say, what does this look like to make it breathe and be bigger and really help people through that? Because, what we tend to see with women is that they have this fear of saying no, of people
Yeah.
pleasing, of not self-advocating, and they're the only losers, right? No one they're not winning when they're not saying no. They're not winning when they're not negotiating. They're not winning when
Negotiation is hard.
they're putting everything on their shoulder. They're not winning. Someone else
Mhm.
is. And so it kind of came this of like I tell people, I'm very you cannot you can't peer pressure me. Like, it's not gonna work. You go waste it somewhere else. Like, I'm not
Good.
and
Yeah.
I just, for me, started to realize that how can I help more women and more people start to be okay with making people upset, self-advocating, like, how do I help them
Mhm. Mhm.
that? And that's where I started turning it with my topic and then ultimately the book.
Yeah, because that's the thing, people feel scared that they're gonna make someone feel bad or look like a jerk. I mean, that's in your tagline, "How to have a backbone and boundaries without being a jerk," you know? And for women, when we try to be assertive, we're looking like bitches all of a sudden. But if a man does it, they're just assertive and, "Oh, that's good," right? So, but is that why so many of us Black women are feel guilty for saying no? I mean, even when we are overextended and should say no?
Well, I think there's a few layers to it. I
Mhm.
think the first thing, I'm gonna kinda go point by point. I think the first thing when you talk about how men, are look assertive, but then when
Yeah.
women do it, they're bitches.
Mhm.
Okay, I'm a bitch then. Okay,
Hey.
right? Like, I think it like,
Hey, this is
I so
your definition of a bitch, right?
and so many people are so afraid, "Oh my god, if they think I'm a bitch." Okay, as
Mm.
long as I know that I didn't talk crazy to you, right?
Yeah.
I was respectful, like, as long as I know in that way, I can walk away knowing that how I treated you was how I would wanna be treated.
Mm.
Like, I so many people are worried, "Oh my gosh, what if they think I'm a bitch?" Girl, you asked for extra tartar sauce. Like, what are we talking about? What are you worried about? Like, like, that's the thing is that people are so worried and so conditioned to be afraid that they won't ask
Wow.
themselves, and I'm like, "Uh, okay, so they think I'm a bitch.
Yeah.
That's a Tuesday for me." And
Yeah.
when you develop that strength, I think
Yeah.
it you differently where you don't allow those words to be weaponized to you, if that
Mhm.
makes sense, like, 'cause people will do that, they'll use a word to weaponize it
Make you feel bad, to make you feel guilty.
to make you feel good, to also silence you, because if you're sitting there asking for okay, I'll give you a perfect example. So I'm
Mhm.
at a restaurant, and it was a happy hour, all you can eat and drink, and it was $30. Sitting on the
Mhm.
website,
Mhm.
it's on the menu. I go up and pay, and the woman was like, "Oh, it's 35." I was like, "But on the
Mhm.
website it says 30." And she was like, "Yeah, but they put it 35 in the register." And I was like, "Okay, I'll wait till you change it to 30." And
Yeah.
there's this woman who's sitting at the bar, and she was like to the waitress, she was like, "Girl, you're doing fine. It's okay, you're doing fine." And I'm thinking, "Uh, what are we doing here? I'm literally asking for the price on the menu. I'm not asking for a discount. I'm just asking for
Yeah.
the price on the menu." And the person kept saying these things, and that's a way to try and silence me, right? To make me feel bad, to be like,
Yeah.
"Sh I'm doing too much with the waitress. I'll just pay and be quiet."
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Girl, I'm just saying the price you agreed it is. And so this person kept saying that, and I was like, "I'll just wait." I wasn't yelling, and she's
You're
like,
right.
"I'll have to get the manager." Okay.
Okay. I mean, you put it in wrong.
And I just waited and right, like, and people will try and peer pressure you out of advocating for yourself. Many people
Yeah.
probably would have been like, "This person thinks I'm being rude, I'm just gonna take it." And I was like, "No, I'm
That's what
not
people
being rude,
do.
yelling, I'm literally saying, 'This is the price on the menu. You agreed, I agreed, now
Yeah.
let's change it.'" And
Yeah.
so that's the thing about it is that people will get, like, language weaponized to make them quiet, to not advocate, and I'm like, "Girl, that's not gonna work. I'm
Yeah,
gonna
because
just
some people at the end of the day, maybe they don't have time to wait, or they might feel like, "Oh, well, it is just $5," or just feel like they should just give in, but, it's okay to stand up for yourself, and again, you were calm, you were patient and just willing to wait, so it wasn't like you were yelling at them and having attitude, so,
And I think also
stood up for yourself.
people, their level of uncomfortableness with conflict, they will put it onto you,
There it is.
right? So if I'm uncomfortable with the interchange because I'm not comfortable advocating for myself, I'm going to do something to stop you from advocating for yourself. And that's why I tell people, like, just because you're uncomfortable with the situation, if it's not violent, if it's not harassing, let them figure it out. And you don't have to input yourself in because you're uncomfortable. And people will do that. And it's like, you don't have to be the main character with everything.
Yeah.
You could sit there, okay, the client's not cussing, they're not being rude. Let me just eat my fries.
Yeah, I have definitely gotten feedback like that, if I'm in a restaurant and I might say, "Oh, this came out like this, it should be like that," and I'm saying it really nice with a smile on my face, and, I've gotten responses like, "Oh, look at you, you're being evil with a smile on your face." I'm like, "Evil? What the heck? I'm just telling them this." I forget the exact
Yeah,
situation. Yeah, that reminds me of that, but
because people
you're empowered to stand up for yourself and get what
yeah.
you want, but it's not like we're cussing you out, you know?
People are super uncomfortable with that. They'll be like, "Don't
Yeah.
make it a big deal. The waitress is busy." "Okay, but she can get my tartar sauce," right? Like, that's the thing is that people want you to make yourself small because they wouldn't do it themselves,
Mhm,
right? And
mhm.
they'll do the thing of like, "Man, you're better than me. I wouldn't do it." "You're right. I guess I am better than you because 'cause I'm gonna ask for my tartar sauce," right? Like, "Okay, I guess
Yeah,
I am." And people get pissed when I do that. "Okay, I guess I am. I'm just gonna advocate for myself, baby." Like,
and be confident about
tell
it.
me yeah, you trying to tell me what you wouldn't do is not gonna stop me from doing what I need to do.
Exactly, yeah, and so in the world of all of us high achievers, whether you're a mom boss, wife, mom boss, whatever you are, you're doing a lot,
Yeah.
and you're being everything for everyone, you're caregiver for your parents, you have kids and things like that. You're overextending yourself, maybe you're a people pleaser, you can't say no for whatever reason, and you often talk about saying no isn't rejection, right? It's protection. What does that actually look like in real life?
So I think we have to change the wording. It's not that you can't say no, it's that you're choosing not to say no,
Yeah.
right? Because a lot of people try and make it seem like they have no power. Right, if
Mm.
I say, "I just can't do it," you're lying. You can, you just don't like the outcome. That's the difference. You don't like the consequences, but you can. And I think that's the first thing, is being able to understand that there are gonna be consequences when you say no. People are gonna
Mhm.
be upset, people are gonna be frustrated, and most times, the first no is actually the easiest no. And it's a
Oh,
surprise.
really?
Yeah, because okay, so Doc, let's go. We're gonna go. We have Thanksgiving coming up, okay? Thanksgiving's coming up in 2 months, and I am exhausted. I know I am used to cooking 6 sides and a turkey.
Mhm.
That's what I usually bring to Thanksgiving. Everyone loves my food, but I have just been so exhausted, and I know when Thanksgiving comes, I just wanna rest. So, I call mom. I'm like, "Hey, mom, I am just exhausted, and I think, this
Yeah.
Thanksgiving, I'm just gonna bring 2 sides."
Mhm.
So that's my first right? I'm telling you right there. So then what does
Yeah.
mom say? "Oh, but I really like your mac and cheese and your yams and your green beans and your mashed potatoes and your Uncle John likes da 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 da. Can you please just da da da?" And I'm like, "No, mom." So that's the first so then,
Mm.
guess what happened? Dad calls me.
I know
"Jen,
what you mean.
I like your blah, 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 and your pie and your turkey and all of this. Can't you just make all of that?" No, I
Uh,
can't. I'm only bringing 2." Then brother calls me, "Jen, I love when you bring your apple pie and your pecan pie, and you bring the yams, and then you bring the potato salad and da 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 da." So now it's my 3rd no, and now I'm starting to get tired. And then
yeah.
grandma calls me, I'm not gonna be around a lot,
Oh my gosh, the guilt trip.
right? Not and I really like your sides of da da da, and your turkey and no one baby, no one can make the turkey like you. No one can.
Oh, no, not
So
that
now
one.
now it's on the 4th no. And then
Somebody's
I've
gotta
told my
learn.
kids, right? And
Mhm.
now they're upset whenever Uncle George tries to make the mac and cheese, he does such a bad job. You're the only one who can do it. So now I've had to keep saying, "No, no, no," and guess
Listen,
what happens?
yeah.
What I finally do?
You end up doing it
Fine.
because you
Oh,
feel bad, and now you're overextended, you're tired, you're burnt out, you're drained.
and
Now you
I
upset everybody.
I'm miserable going up
Mhm.
to Thanksgiving because
Mhm,
I knew what
mhm.
I wanted to do. I'm exhausted and I have to make all of this food and these
Mhm.
pies. So all week before Thanksgiving, I'm preparing. Then the week
Just
of
you.
Thanksgiving, when I just wanted to relax, I'm doing all these things. My kids aren't helping me, right? Like all this,
Well, they gonna help if you gonna end up saying yes, but yeah, I get the scenario
right? And
though.
so now I'm overextended, I'm exhausted, and I'm going to Thanksgiving just pissed off at everyone. Here's the food,
Yeah.
and I'm mad. And that's why I say the first no is the easiest.
That I
You
get
have
what
to
you
be
mean.
prepared for all the other pushing on your boundaries to be able to say, "I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I understand. I'm not doing it."
Better
And
call
to
honey
do
baked ham, they got the sides.
Yep, go get some mac and cheese. You got 2 months to figure it out. And so that's the problem is that when
Give
you
them the
let
recipe.
people know before,
Mhm.
people are gonna keep pushing on your boundaries because they figure if we badger you enough, we'll be able to get you to say yes.
Which wow, is that bullying and peer pressure. Let's think of that.
And, like, it's the badgering. If I say it
Yeah.
this is that we know Jen will be mad, but she'll do it, right? She'll have an attitude, but she'll do it. We'll be fine. She'll do it,
Oh, if we
right?
keep telling her just like a toddler who, like, when you ask, but please,
Yeah,
no, 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 but please," they just make it seem like if you just continue to say please that you'll say yes, and of course, me as a mom, yes, I do end up saying yes, but I know you need to learn how to be consistent because all that does is create a child who's spoiled and just yells and says no and all those things. So, same with adult life, we have to learn how to say no so we won't be drained and so they won't continue to badger you, like,
yeah,
wow.
yeah.
But
So that
how do we consistently do that? Like, is that a real life scenario or that's an example?
I mean, that's a real that think about how many families and women that happens to.
Well, it is a real life okay, I was wondering if it would actually happen to you. Because how
Oh,
does
no,
that
girl, I
person
don't cook. They no one trusts me, girl. You do not want me bringing food. They be like, "No, Jen, do not
Yeah.
bring
Well,
stuff."
it's a great example. So, how does that person continue to say no despite all that and not feel the guilt? Because that family is really making them feel guilty on purpose,
You can
especially the grandma.
you can feel the guilt and still say no, right? Like, you have to sit with those emotions and, well, it just might, might be their last time. What if you think of all these hypothetical situations? And what if you die in the friggin' kitchen because you kept overextending yourself, right? Like, you have to be able to sit with the emotions and still be able to say, like, "This is really hard right now. I feel guilty as hell, and I still have to say no," right? Like, sit with the emotions. Don't
Yeah.
ignore them. Don't pretend like they don't occur. You can sit with them, you just don't have to act on them. So you c I'm no one's gonna the guilt is not gonna dissipate. It is not gonna disappear, and honestly, the closer you get to Thanksgiving, you're gonna even feel more of it. They're gonna make
Yeah.
little passive aggressive comments, "Man, wish you were bringing the food. Ugh, guess we're gonna have to have" right? And
After a
you just have
while, it'll stop.
Oh, well, like, there's right? You just have to do that and be okay that you're gonna feel it as it gets closer, but you have to be able to weather that storm. 'Cause
Right. In other words, it's not gonna be easy. There's gonna be some backlash, and that's what we fear is that backlash, whether it's
and if they know all it takes is grandma calling you, that's guess what's gonna happen,
mm, mm, mm.
right? Like,
Ooh, that's deep.
they know, and so you have to be willing to weather the storm and say no, and you're gonna hear the slight comments and be like, "Okay." Right? Like, I
Right.
feel like someone's like, "Oh, you're acting like a bitch." "Okay."
Right. And what we really need to think of is how saying no actually creates more space for joy, rest, and purpose. So that's the thing. We don't necessarily imagine that how it's like. So we just continue to say yes, 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 get the burnout. So let's talk about how does learning to say no actually create that space for your joy?
Because you have to learn that in reality, you're the most important person in your world, and
Mhm.
a lot of women tend to forget that,
Mhm.
because if
Yep.
you're not there, what does it mean for everyone else? And I think that's the main thing,
Mhm.
that you have to understand that you're and women tend to put themselves last amongst everything,
Yeah.
right? Because
Mm.
that's what we're taught. We're taught to be the superhero
Yep.
everywhere. That's like, in youth sports, I see these moms who feel like they have to go and watch every single practice, be at every single tournament. Girl, go get a pedicure. Go
Mm-mm.
live your life, and,
Mm-mm.
these parents will be like, "But I love watching my kid. I love that." You have to be important to you, and so many times we forget being how important it is to be think of us as important. And so
Yeah.
the guilt is gonna be hard, but when you keep setting boundaries, you're creating more space for you. So now Thanksgiving can be where you get to enjoy it, and it might really suck the first time.
Yeah.
Or, one of my good friends and I, we went to Cancun for Thanksgiving.
Mm.
She has a 20 what is he, 21, 22, and literally last year, she had surgery, she just had a horrible she cooked for everyone. She had a horrible, horrible Thanksgiving, and she's
Yeah.
like, "This is the last time." And so this
Yeah.
year, um, she says, like, "I'm not cooking," and her son was like, "But I love our family tradition." And she literally said, "You're gonna have to figure out your own traditions."
Well, or just learn. I mean, also, you can send the recipe because
Yep,
that's one way to get beyond the guilt. It's like, "Okay, here's a recipe, learn how to cook," because eventually you have to pass that tradition on to the next generation
100%.
anyway.
So we literally did Cancun for Thanksgiving. She was like,
That's
we were both,
dope.
"This is the best thing." And that's what I also tell people, if you're worried about the guilt, stay home. And I know for some people it's easier said than done, but, like, you get to make these choices. No one is forcing you to go to Thanksgiving. No one. And people don't like to be in charge of their own choices, as weird as this to sound. So they'll
Mm.
say, "Well, no, they're forcing me. I have to go." No, you don't. No one is forcing
Mm-mm.
you. You are grown up with
You
a moral.
can't say no.
You are the person who won't say no, but
Yeah.
forcing you, not at all.
Yeah, exactly. That's really good. Okay, awesome. So, I mean, we want people to buy your lovely book, and it is
Yes.
on your website, JenFryTalks.com, correct? I ended up yeah, I ended up getting it on the other place, sorry,
It's okay.
Amazon, because I wanted it in time, I
Yes.
wanted to be able to flash it, right?
Yes.
What else is at Gen Fry Talks? What do people get out of coming to your website?
Yeah, well, so you can go, you can buy the book, and when, you buy a book from me, you get stickers and a bookmark. You get
Oh,
some good s yeah, I'm just saying. Let me see, you get a bookmark like this,
nice.
you get a sticker like this.
Look at that. That's you.
That's me. So you do get some swag. It also just kinda talks about the stuff I do, keynotes, workshops, facilitation. You just get to see me in action and
Oh,
really, yeah, see
nice.
what I do with conflict.
Ah, that's really cool. Okay, gotcha. So there's different workshops that
Yep.
people can sign up for. You do
Well, so,
speaking
like, you can bring
engagements.
me in for your businesses, your company stuff I
Mm.
do. Yep.
Ah, that's so awesome. So somebody's sitting here listening, like, oh my gosh, she makes it seem like it's easy to say no. Sounds like she's been saying no a lot and she's really good at it. For somebody who's literally not good at it at all, what kind of advice can you offer them?
I would
Especially if
say
they're a people pleaser.
yes. So I would say so there's 2 things, micro advocacy and
Mhm.
time. So micro advocacy is you go to a restaurant, right? And they get your order wrong and you're like, I ordered, I don't know, french fries instead of mashed potatoes, right? So like micro advocacy where there's a
Mhm.
low barrier to entry. If you go to the nail salon and they pick the wrong color, tell them it's the wrong color. Instead of you taking the color and then you hate the color, you're like, "It's
Or
fine."
you get your hair done, you're like, "Oh, no."
Yeah, and then you can spend $50 somewhere else to fix the color.
Yeah.
Just go and have them fix the color. Like,
Yes.
micro advocacy, I think, is the biggest thing when it
Mhm.
comes to, learning to say no because 'cause you're building that up. Think
Like
about different things that people right, small things that people want you to do.
yeah, for
Unfortunately, I
sure.
can't do that, and just be able to do that. The second
Mhm.
thing I mentioned with time when it comes to people pleasers is that when you give people more lag time, it's easier to take a no than it is if you give them a short lag time. So,
Mhm.
meaning, say we're going on a group trip, and, I know 2 months before I can't go. So, instead of me just being like, "Okay, girl, I'm excited." I've known for 2 months, I haven't bought my ticket, I haven't paid
Exactly.
I know for 2 months, and I keep, "Oh, yeah, Imma buy it, Imma buy it, Imma buy it."
Oh, no, no,
Now it's
no.
a week before, and you're like, "Hey,
Ooh.
girl, have you bought your ticket?" "Actually, I can't go."
Oh,
So
no, you're
right?
increasing expectation.
So
Ooh.
now I'm pissed because
Mhm.
the budget's based on you, no one else can room, right? We can't put 3 in a room, like, all these things
Last minute.
because you thought it was a people pleasing moment, you just telling me you're gonna go. No, instead, now I'm even more pissed versus
Yeah, it's the
2
opposite of
months
pleasing.
before, you're like, "I can't make it." And what I tell people is do not give hope. Meaning, some people might say 2 months out, "Well, maybe if I can swing it." So then the other person's like, "Okay, I'll just keep the room just in case." Don't
Yeah.
give people hope. Say, "No, I can't go." And then if maybe you can, then like, "Okay, I'm gonna try and figure it out." But don't give hope. More time, yes, someone's gonna be disappointed, and you have to be okay with someone emoting. You have to be okay with someone being like, "I'm sad, I'm mad." They wanted you to go. Of course they're gonna have emotions. You you would be distraught if you told your best friend you weren't going and they're like, "Okay." You'd be like, "You walking
And you want them to have a reaction and actually want you to go. So,
Yes,
yeah, they should have feelings. They love
yes,
you, they want you there.
100%.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
if you're gonna give bad news, expect that people are gonna emote, and if you give bad news 2 months out, the emoting is gonna be very different than if you give it a week out.
That's
Then the emotion you're
yeah.
afraid of is gonna happen.
Yes, that is really good advice. That reminds me because a friend of mine who invited me to this retreat in Mexico, and I'm like, "Oh, a retreat in Mexico? That actually sounds really good." But then I find out it's in like Mexico, Mexico, like in the center, and it's 3 hour drive from the airport, and I'm just like, "No." Like I said no right away. Like I was not about to drag that along, and she understood, and I'm just it was over. It was done. So I remember a time where I wouldn't have like, I probably still wouldn't have went, but I probably would have dragged it on a little bit before
Yeah.
actually saying no. But so that's really good. I like that advice. And sometimes when I'm asked to do something, like say a speaking engagement or a workshop or something like that, and I really can't do it, a lot of times I feel like, well, I gotta say yeah, because first of all, it's for my business, but also like if I say no, then they won't want to ask me. But I've learned that no, 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 it's okay to not overextend yourself. And I just say, thank you. I really appreciate it. Just think of me next time because I still would love to, be in your notes on who for speaker or whatnot. So yeah, there's no reason to feel like, "Oh my god, they won't ask me again."
Yeah, and one thing that I do is I do not take speaking engagements that I'm gonna be resentful at what I'm getting paid.
Mm.
That's what you'll see is that someone will take a
Yeah.
speaking engagement for the cost, and they'll be pissed off.
Yeah.
You signed the contract. You don't get to be pissed off at what you wrote your name on. You don't get to, no.
That part. Yeah, and being able to negotiate what you get paid, so
If
and if
you
you're
don't
not getting
ask.
paid what you want, it's alright to say no.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah. Because some people are starting out and they're not charging, for speaking engagements, but once you get into that, then that's easier to do that.
Well, and I tell people who are just starting out, "Don't charge because you're not good. Just because you spoke in front of your church, told to be there, right? Like, they have no option. You're not good." And that's the thing is that I remember this one guy was like, "Oh, yeah, Microsoft brought me in to speak to these students. I should charge them." I was like, "Bruh, you weren't good." Like, once you charge someone money, you have to be good. And just because they brought you in, like, get the
Oh
experience.
my god, yeah.
Because 'cause you're not gonna be good at the beginning. No one is.
That's awesome. Okay. So, as we're talking about being able to feel more comfortable saying no, any other advice that you have for listeners who are just like, I can't do this because the key here is that no is a complete sentence and you really don't have to explain. But a
Yeah.
lot of us end up explaining on and on and on why we've said no when we really don't have to.
Yeah. I just know that emotions are gonna come with it. You just have to learn how to deal with it.
Mhm.
You have to put on your big girl undies, and you have to learn how to deal with emotion. Because what
Yeah.
happens is that if you're a people pleaser,
Yeah.
you end up pissing off more people because you don't do stuff well, you're not happy when you do it, you're resentful, like, all that stuff. Like, the people pleasing is just you saying yes. That's not really people pleasing because I know so many people who will say yes and then don't
And
do
don't follow through, they just say it to say it. That's
Yeah,
not actually people pleasing, like,
it's
maybe in the moment, 'cause you
yeah, and then
yeah.
you're ruining your reputation of just not
Ooh,
right?
not
Like,
following through.
yeah, because 'cause you're not like, you're not people pleasing. I think that's the thing of, like, you're not saying yes and putting out this excellent product. You're just saying yes and putting out some mediocre stuff to get it done. And then you end up ruining the relationship way more than if you just said, "No, thank you. I don't have the time."
Mhm. Yeah, and so it sounds like saying no is an emotional regulation thing. You said you gotta learn how to deal with emotion. You obviously deal with people in conflict,
Yep.
and that's a part of saying no as well. So it's a matter of looking into yourself, get the therapy if you need it, but
Yeah. Get
emotional
therapy.
regulation.
Get therapy, please. Yes.
Yeah, people pleasing is a thing. It's not an official clinical diagnosis, but it's a thing. And so if you have difficulty, therapy will help for sure.
And if you're afraid that you saying no is going to lose some relationships. That means that all they want to do is use you,
Mm,
right? Like,
wow.
if I say nothing
Yeah.
to them, they're not gonna talk to me. Well, good,
Why you with them if that's the case?
good. Because
Yeah,
now
that's good.
you people out who just wanted to use you. That's a good
Mm. It's like a conditional relationship at that point, like,
yeah,
they should be okay with hearing no.
yeah. That's the
Yeah,
thing. If you're so afraid of
that's
that,
good.
then don't have those friendships.
Mhm. Yeah, that's a good one to end on because a lot of times people aren't realizing the value or devalue of their relationships and that you need to pick
Mm,
different relationships if people are using you.
yeah,
So,
absolutely, absolutely.
not cool. So where we can find you is jenfrytalks.com.
Yeah, ta-da! I make the little arrow. I don't know how to do it. There we
Eh,
go.
oh, yeah, like, which way? Which direction?
This way, this way, this way. There we go. There we go. I swear I have a PhD. There we go, right there.
There, you did it. That's so funny. And also everywhere, Gen Fry Talks
Everywhere.
is where you are, so that's good and consistent
Yep.
with your branding. And so before you go, you're not, letting loose yet just yet. I ask every guest what your own personal journey to joy has been like, so tell us quickly what your own personal journey to joy has been like.
Oh my gosh, my own personal, um, journey to joy is when the hard thing pays off.
Oh, yeah.
Like, when that thing happens, you're like, "Oh, man, this" right? And, like, you know the work you put into it, you know the sweat, the tears, the stressing out, the shoulda, wouldas, the, like, all this stuff in it, and when that stuff, it pans out, you're like, "Man."
Mhm,
So I think that to me and it's not just, like, with, like, work, but I think also with, like, relationships and friendships and the
mhm,
you put in and it pans out, you're like, "This was that was worth it." It was worth that hard part.
mhm. Really good. Awesome. Well, thank you, Dr. Jen, for coming on Journey to Joy Live.
Thank you, I
Appreciate
appreciate you.
you. All right. Have a good one.
You too.
This has been an Enjoy Life production. If you're in a crisis, don't hesitate. Call, text, or chat 988 for immediate support. Please note, this podcast is for informational purposes only and is not a substitute for professional treatment. If you're looking for therapy or medication management through Enjoy Life, visit www.drenjoylife.com to request a consultation. I'm licensed in 12 states. I accept Aetna in Georgia, Florida, and Virginia. Be sure to grab your copy of the Enjoy Note to help you on your wellness journey. Also, check out Inspire Joy for the wife, mom, boss to help you balance it all without losing yourself. Better yet, get the full Joy bundle for just $45. Remember, Journey to Joy Live is every Thursday at 7 p.m. Thank you for joining me, and until next time, may you continue to transform stress into joy.